Focus. And then those Scots had to take me out of my... they had to take me out of that.
For years, people have had strong opinions about Martell Holt. Some saw him as confident, charming, and driven. Others believed he was reckless, stubborn, and addicted to chaos. If you watched Love and Marriage Huntsville, you probably felt like you knew exactly who he was. A man who had everything and still managed to lose it all. But now, something has changed. At 43, after years of headlines, arguments, broken trust, and public humiliation, Martell is finally speaking in a way we've never heard before. Not defensive, not loud, not trying to win. This time, he sounds different. And what he's revealing isn't just another explanation or excuse. It's deeper than the cheating rumors, deeper than the divorce, deeper than the fights, the backlash, and the image people built of him. Because the truth he's finally admitting doesn't just change how we see his story, it changes how we understand everything that went wrong. And once you hear it, you start to realize maybe the drama we saw was never the real problem. Maybe it was just the surface, because behind all the talk, all the anger, all the mistakes, there was something much more personal going on, something he spent years trying to hide, even from himself. And now, at 43, he's finally ready to face it.
So you know when people tell them the truth, they go break like me. I'm gonna bring forth the evidence. Stuff that Tisha said, stuff that Marceau said, it's not true. So that's when you go to court. When you say not alleged, so this when you go to court. So that's how you know people lying, okay?
But to really understand what he's revealing now, we have to go back. Before the fame, before the show, before the world started watching his every move. Back to the version of Martell most people never talk about. Before the cameras, before the headlines, Martell was just a man trying to build something meaningful. Like many others, he had dreams of success, stability, and creating a life that looked solid from the outside. When he met Melody Holt, it felt like everything was falling into place. They weren't just a couple, they were partners. They built businesses together, shared goals, and worked toward a vision that looked almost perfect. To the outside world, they were the definition of a power couple. They had ambition, they had chemistry, they had a plan. And for a while, it worked. People admired them, looked up to them, saw them as an example of what success and love could look like when two driven people came together. But what nobody saw was the pressure building underneath.
Also did an interview out here saying, I'm like, why would this dude even fix his mouth to say something about my chart?
Because for Martell, success wasn't just about winning, it was about proving something. Proving he was enough, proving he could lead, proving he wouldn't fail. And that pressure didn't come from nowhere. It came from years of expectations. The idea that a man has to always be strong, always in control, always have the answers. So he built that version of himself. Confident, assertive, unshakable. But here's the part he's finally admitting now. That version wasn't real. It was a mask he wore so well that even the people closest to him couldn't see what was really going on underneath. Because underneath all that confidence, there was fear. Fear of losing everything he built. Fear of not living up to the image people expected. Fear of being exposed as someone who didn't have it all together. And instead of facing that fear, he did what many people do. He hid it.
Okay. Every time anyone ever said anything, I've always defended you.
The word around town is that he has a whole nother boo thing.
I'm not gonna go convicting my guy of infidelity based on a rumor. You know, we can just pray for their marriage.
We go places, you talking about infidelity, your wife talking about the infidelity, like at the dinner table and all that kind of stuff. Y'all talking about just like making like it's a joke.
Why y'all think that the Holts wouldn't celebrate their 10 years?
I think that they said they were too busy. One of them's been a little busier than others. Somebody's been a little busy me.
My second phone out there.
I'm sorry, what?
You got two phones.
I thought we were done with this.
Business phone, dude.
I got you. Oh. Your wife has got one foot out the door and you've got two phones? You can't have two phones in a non-cheating marriage. What you can do is have two phones in a cheating marriage. Lord have mercy.
Don't be kicking a horse while he's down. That's another reason I'm mad.
As their business grew and their lives became more public, the pressure only got worse. Being seen as perfect started to feel like a responsibility he couldn't escape. And that's when things started to shift. Not all at once, not in a way that was obvious, but slowly, quietly, the cracks began to form. At first, it looked like small disagreements, differences in communication, stress from work, the kind of things most couples deal with. But behind those moments, something deeper was building. Resentment, frustration, and a growing need for control. Because when someone feels like they're losing control inside, they often try to control everything around them. And that's exactly what Martell started to do.
Gotta go, or both of y'all gotta leave.
I didn't Tisha when my boys, okay? You're talking about. You said I couldn't. Marcel, you know who she married? You think you was uglier than you are, better than you are. What the f talking about? I couldn't.
You are being so
What you talking about?
You
Not
good?
got Tisha.
You good?
Tisha got the bottom of the barrel.
And she kept it.
Dude, what the?
And she said,
You still.
By the time the cameras from Love and Marriage Huntsville entered their lives, the foundation was already unstable. But instead of slowing down, everything sped up. Now the world was watching. Now every argument mattered. Now every mistake had an audience. And instead of dealing with the truth, Martell leaned even harder into the image he created. Strong, confident, untouchable. But here's the twist. The more he tried to protect that image, the more damage he caused behind the scenes. Because maintaining a false version of yourself is exhausting, and eventually, something has to give. For Martell, that breaking point didn't come quietly. It came in the form of choices that would change everything. The affair, the lies, the arguments that played out not just in private, but in front of millions.
So what's the problem with you then?
every time he opens his mouth and say something about Marcel, he gonna be talking about Martell.
I never say
I'm
about
gonna
you.
tell
What you
about what
talking about?
Marcel knows about Martell. I'm telling you right now, I don't have no respect for you.
Okay, you a bitch ass. It's like dude code, and it's like bitches that we together. I'm not saying nothing about it.
Oh, we've never
You
been
fucking
together.
ugly.
together.
Where the pictures at, Martell? Let me see.
Cheers to my boy.
Martell!
Go ahead and say your shit.
Keep
and I'm gonna
going,
say
big fella. Keep going, big fella.
I'm done. Okay, hold on.
At first, people thought they understood the story. A man who cheated, a marriage that fell apart, a woman who finally walked away. Simple. But according to Martell, it wasn't that simple at all. Because the cheating wasn't just about desire. It wasn't even about the relationship itself. It was about escape. Escape from the pressure. Escape from the expectations. Escape from the version of himself he didn't know how to fix. And once that escape became a habit, everything started to spiral. The arguments with Melody became louder, more intense, more painful. Trust disappeared, respect faded, and the connection they once had started to feel like something neither of them recognized anymore.
And your significant other, who has shown up for you the most in this alleged friend group?
Nobody. Nobody. You did that.
Mine is Martell. He showed me how not to leave my marriage for a
All right, teach
shareable
your
side chick.
answer.
I'm sorry.
Ah!
He asked me, hey man, did Mel try to suck? What the?
But what made it worse was how public it all became. Every mistake, every argument, every emotional moment, it wasn't just happening between them. It was happening in front of the world. People took sides. Some defended Melody, others criticized Martell. And the more people talked, the more pressure he felt. But instead of stepping back, instead of taking accountability early on, he fought harder. He defended himself. He argued. He pointed fingers. Because admitting the truth would have meant facing something he wasn't ready to face yet. Himself. And that's the part nobody really understood at the time. From the outside, it looked like ego, like pride, like a man refusing to admit he was wrong. But now, at 43, Martell is saying something very different. He says it wasn't just ego, it was fear. Fear of being seen without the mask. Fear of being judged, not just for what he did, but for who he really was underneath it all. And that fear made him react in ways that only made things worse. The more Melody pulled away, the more defensive he became. The more people criticized him, the more he tried to control the narrative. The more the truth got closer, the harder he ran from it. But what nobody expected was how everything would eventually catch up to him, because you can only run from yourself for so long. The divorce wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was the collapse of the life he built, the image, the family dynamic, the sense of control he thought he had. And for the first time, he was forced to sit with the reality of what he had done. Not on camera, not in an argument, but alone. And according to him, that's when everything started to shift. Because in those quiet moments, there were no distractions, no audience, no one to blame, just him and the truth he had been avoiding for years. He talks about nights where the silence felt overwhelming, moments where he realized the house didn't feel like home anymore, times where he saw the distance between him and his children and understood that it wasn't just about what happened between him and Melody, it was bigger than that. And that realization hit harder than anything else, because for the first time, he wasn't seeing himself as the public figure. He was seeing himself through the eyes of the people who mattered most. And what he saw was painful. Not a perfect father, not a strong leader, but a man who made choices that hurt the people he loved. And that's when he says something inside him finally broke. Not in a dramatic way, not in front of cameras, but quietly. Honestly, he stopped trying to defend himself, stopped trying to explain everything away, and started asking a question he had never really asked before. Why did I become this version of myself? And the answer he found wasn't easy. He admits now that for years he was living in survival mode, trying to prove himself, trying to maintain control, trying to avoid feeling vulnerable. But in doing that, he never actually dealt with the deeper issues that were driving his behavior. He never healed. And because of that, everything he built was standing on unstable ground. The emotional impact of this realization has been heavy, not just for him, but for everyone connected to him. He talks about the guilt he feels when he thinks about how everything affected his children, how they had to watch their parents' relationship fall apart in public, how they had to process emotions that no child should have to deal with, and how that reality forced him to rethink everything he thought he understood about responsibility. He also reflects on Melody, not with anger, but with a kind of understanding he didn't have before. He admits now that she didn't walk away because she didn't care. She walked away because she had to, because staying would have meant carrying a weight that wasn't hers to carry. And that realization changed how he sees their entire story. It wasn't just about betrayal, it was about imbalance. One person trying to hold everything together, while the other was trying to hold himself together, and eventually something had to break. He also opens up about the emotional toll of public judgment, how seeing people talk about him, criticize him, laugh at his mistakes, forced him to confront the fact that some of that criticism wasn't wrong, and that's a hard thing to admit, but it's also what pushed him toward growth, because once you stop denying the truth, you can finally start dealing with it. And that's where Martell says he is now. Not fixed, not perfect, but aware of his patterns, aware of his mistakes, aware of the work he still needs to do, and maybe, for the first time, willing to do it. The most powerful part of his story now isn't the drama, it's the honesty, because instead of trying to rewrite the past, he's finally owning it. He's not asking people to forget what happened, he's not trying to change how people see him overnight. He's simply trying to become better, day by day, moment by moment. And that's not something we're used to seeing from him, which is why this moment feels different. At 43, Martell Holt isn't revealing some shocking secret to clear his name. He's revealing something much more important, the truth about himself. A truth that shows he was never just the villain people made him out to be, but also not the man he pretended to be either. He was someone in between, someone dealing with things he didn't understand, making choices he didn't fully think through, and learning the consequences in real time. The journey ahead won't be easy. Healing never is. Trust doesn't come back overnight, and the past doesn't disappear just because you finally understand it. But this moment, this honesty, it's a start. Because growth doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins when you finally stop lying to yourself. And for Martell, that moment came at 43. Not when the cameras were rolling, not when the headlines were loud, but when he finally got quiet enough to hear the truth he had been running from all along. And maybe that's the real story here. Not the drama, not the scandal, but the realization that sometimes the hardest person to face is yourself. And once you do, everything changes.